Sam Altman just called one of his biggest competitors authoritarian and dishonest in a public rant, and it all started because of a Super Bowl commercial. The CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, apparently watched Anthropic's debut Super Bowl ad and couldn't let it go. He posted an extensive response on X defending OpenAI's decision to put ads in ChatGPT while accusing Anthropic of running a deceptive ad to critique theoretical deceptive ads. It's the kind of public meltdown you rarely see from a CEO of a $100 billion company. And here's what's wild. The reaction might have done more to amplify Anthropic's message than the Super Bowl ad itself. Today I'm breaking down this AI industry beef, what it reveals about the future of how you'll interact with AI, and then we're looking at a brand new platform that could completely change how AI-built software gets discovered and shared. Let me set the stage here. Anthropic, the AI company founded by former OpenAI employees and the creator of Claude, just made its Super Bowl debut with a campaign called A Time and a Place. They dropped a 60-second pre-game ad and a 30-second in-game spot. We're talking about $8 to $10 million per 30-second slot during the big game. So this wasn't cheap. The ads themselves are actually pretty funny. One features a guy talking to what's clearly meant to be an AI therapist about communication issues with his mom. The chatbot gives some bland advice, and then suddenly pivots to pitching a cougar dating app called Golden Encounters. Another spot shows a guy in a park asking someone about getting six-pack abs, and the response turns into this robotic ad for insoles called Step Boost Max. The tagline for the whole campaign: ads are coming to AI, but not to Claude. Now this is a direct shot at OpenAI, which announced it would start showing ads within ChatGPT conversations. OpenAI has stated they plan to test ads at the bottom of answers when there's a relevant sponsored product or service based on your current conversation. Sam Altman's response was something. He posted on X saying, quote, "First, the good part of the Anthropic ads, they are funny, and I laughed. But I wonder why Anthropic would go for something so clearly dishonest." He claimed OpenAI would obviously never run ads in the way Anthropic depicts them and said we are not stupid and we know our users would reject that. But he didn't stop there. Altman called Anthropic authoritarian, claimed they want to control what people do with AI, and accused them of blocking companies they don't like, including OpenAI, from using their coding product. He wrote that Anthropic wants to write the rules themselves for what people can and can't use AI for and called it a dark path. He also took a shot at their business model, claiming Anthropic serves an expensive product to rich peoples while OpenAI wants to bring AI to billions of people who can't pay for subscriptions. Here's where this gets interesting. Altman's rich people's argument kind of falls apart when you look at the actual pricing. Claude has a free tier plus subscriptions at $17, $100 and $200 a month. ChatGPT's tiers run $820 and $200. They're playing the exact same freemium game with nearly identical pricing structures. But the real story here isn't about pricing, it's about trust. When you're having a personal conversation with an AI assistant about your health, your relationships, your finances, your career decisions, there's an implied intimacy there. Anthropic's position is that injecting ads into those conversations would feel incongruous and in many cases inappropriate. And they've committed to a straightforward business model: enterprise contracts and paid subscriptions, full stop. OpenAI is betting that users will accept ads as long as they're not too intrusive. But here's the thing, the entire history of the internet shows us what happens. Ads start small and reasonable, then they grow, then they get targeted, then they influence the product itself. The fact that Altman responded so defensively, keeping the story alive for days and giving every outlet a reason to reshare Anthropic's ads, suggests this hit a nerve. Every article about his response also explained Anthropic's ad-free promise. That's the kind of earned media money can't buy during Super Bowl week. Watch how OpenAI actually implements ads over the coming months. If they're subtle and truly non-intrusive, Altman might be vindicated. But if users start seeing product recommendations creep into sensitive conversations, expect this debate to explode. Also keep an eye on whether other AI companies take sides. This could split the industry between ad-supported and subscription-only models, and where each company lands will tell you a lot about their priorities. Now, while the biggest AI companies are fighting over business models and who gets to put ads in front of you, something fascinating is happening at the other end of the spectrum. A new platform just launched that's taking a completely different approach to AI. not as a chatbot you talk to, but as a tool that regular people use to create actual software, and the way they're distributing it. Like TikTok videos. Meet Gizmo, a new app that's basically TikTok for interactive AI-built mini applications. It comes from a New York startup called Atma Sciences, founded by Rudd Fawcett, Brandon Francis, CEO Josh Siegel, and CTO Daniel Amate. They raised a $5.5 million seed round from first-round capital last year, and now their creation is taking off. Here's how it works. You open Gizmo and you see a vertical feed just like TikTok or Instagram Reels. But instead of watching videos, you're interacting with mini-apps. You might encounter a puzzle game, an interactive art piece, a digital toy, an animation, a creative meme, whatever someone dreamed up. And you don't just scroll past these things. You poke the screen, swipe, tap, draw, drag. These are actual interactive experiences. The wild part, you don't need to know how to code to create these. You type out a prompt in natural language describing what you want to build, and Gizmo's AI generates the code that makes it work. This is what people in the industry are calling vibe coding. You describe the vibe of what you want, and AI handles the technical implementation. The traction has been impressive. According to market intelligence firm AppFigures, Gizmo has roughly 600,000 installs so far, with about half coming from the US. December alone saw around 235,000 downloads. That's 39% of their total installs in 1 month. From October to December, they grew 312%. Projections suggest they could hit 1 million users by spring if the trend continues. Gizmo is free on iOS and now rolling out on Android. The concept is deceptively simple. Treat software like content. As AI reduces the cost of building software to nearly zero, the bottleneck shifts from creation to discovery. How do you find cool stuff when anyone can make anything? Think about what this represents. Traditional app stores have massive friction. You need to be a real developer, go through approval processes, compete with millions of apps, figure out marketing. The barrier to entry is enormous, and the barrier to discovery is even worse. Gizmo is positioning itself as the distribution layer for micro software, similar to what YouTube did for video. Before YouTube, making a video was one thing, getting anyone to see it was another problem entirely. YouTube solved discovery. Gizmo is trying to do the same thing for AI-built software. This matters because vibe coding is real. People with no technical background are building functional software using AI tools. But where does that software go? Right now it mostly sits on someone's laptop or gets shared in a Discord server. There's no native platform designed around how these creations actually get made and consumed. For solo developers and creators who've been experimenting with AI tools, this could be the outlet they've been waiting for. Build something in an afternoon, publish it, and let the algorithm do the distribution. If your creation is good, people interact with it, share it, and it spreads. The feedback loop is immediate in a way that traditional app stores never provided. The question now is whether Gizmo can maintain quality as it scales. User-generated content platforms always face this challenge. The more open you are, the more noise floods the system. Watch for how they handle curation, and whether they can keep the feed interesting without drowning in low-effort spam. Also watch for competition. If this model works, expect TikTok, Instagram, or even Apple to launch something similar. Gizmo has first-mover advantage, but that only matters if they can hold it. The AI industry is at an inflection point. On one side, you've got billion-dollar companies fighting over whether your AI assistant should be trying to sell you things. On the other, you've got platforms emerging that let anyone build and share software like they're posting a video. The common thread, control is shifting. The question is toward whom? If you want to stay on top of where all this is heading, make sure you're subscribed. New videos every day breaking down what matters in AI and tech. See you in the next one.